Hi guys, welcome back to Geeks 40k channel and our latest battle report. Today we have Space Wolves versus Tau. Bit of a rematch the last time these two faced off against each other on the channel. It was a bit of a kick-in for the Space Wolves. The Tau were dominant and OP, as Tau normally are. But the Space Wolves want revenge. They've sent out some different units this time to get into the fight and hopefully rip the Tau apart. So today's mission we're doing Relic. It is down in the middle of the board and we are using one of the objective markers from Awakened Realms, which is absolutely gorgeous. And also deployment is down and we're doing Hammer and Anvil today. So will the Space Wolves be victorious against everybody's favourite army, the Tau? Or will it be another surefire victory for the greater good? HQ for the Space Wolves, I am taking Auric the Slayer. He comes with his own Warlord trait, Saga of the Beast Slayer, which gives preferred enemy to any unit that he joins. Over to troops, I am taking two Grey Hunter squads. These are 5-man, basically stock, so bolters, bolt pistols, close combat weapons, just to keep the points down. Over to elites, for the first time I am taking my Wolfren squad. These are all equipped with the Frost Claws. So, new mini syndrome, first time in a battle, so I'm sure they will do terribly. However, to get them up the board quickly, I am taking them in a Land Raider, so they'll be able to open the doors, move, run, kill, hopefully. Over to the second of my elite choices, I'm taking my Terminator squad, 2 Thunder Hammers and Storm Shields and 3 sets of Lightning Claws. They will be arriving with Auric the Slayer from reserve in the Stormwolf Flyer. Can they come on a turn that will actually help the battle? We'll see. Fast attack, I'm taking my trusted Thunderwolf Cavalry. These guys all have Storm Shields and one of the guys has a Thunder Hammer. So planning on running them up the board and getting them into combat as quickly as I can with the squishy Tau. And finally, heavy support, I'm taking my Vindicator. This thing is going to drop shells on the Tau and hopefully annihilate them off the board for me so that I can, well, basically win. So that is my 1,500 points of Space Wolves that are taking on the Tau.
Hi guys, so let me show you around my 1500 points worth of Tau. It's the same list that you may have seen on the channel before. We've got a Hunter Cadre led by my commander. He's armed with a Cyclic Iron Raker and a Fusion Blaster, and he has the drone controller with 2 MacLeod drones just to make maximum use of the MacLeods. In that Cadre unit, we've also got 3 squads of Fire Warriors, an 8, a 6 and a 5-man that are just totally stock. I've got in the fast section my Piranha armed with a Fusion Blaster. In the elite section, I've got 3-man Crisis Suit Squad, expecting lots of Terminators. You'll see they are armed with plasma rifles on each arm, and the leader has got a Fusion Blaster as well for good measure. And they're supported with a shield drone. In the heavy section, we've got the Hammerhead, not long strike, it's just a bog standard Hammerhead, fitted with the smart missile system and the heavy railgun. And then in allied to that, I've got a Firebase Cadre that's got a Riptide. He's armed with the heavy burst cannon and fusion blasters. And I've also given him Velocity Tracker, expecting to see a flyer. Unfortunately, didn't have the points for early warning override as well. That's backed up with 2 broadsides. One with plasma rifles and one with smart missile system and missile drone each, so 2 in total for, well, they're not really a squad, they're 2 individual guys, so 1 each. And they've also got an optimized stealth cadre that consists of 2 4-man stealth suits with a MacLeod drone each, and then the Ghost Keel with its obligatory drones. That Ghost Keel, I'm going to deep strike him in. I do like I keep coming back to the idea of deep striking him in. I think if you can pull that move off, it will be an impressive one. I like to be able to get him around the back of vehicles and do his thing. So my stealth suits guys are going to infiltrate, and they're going to be joined at some point later on by the ghost keel.
The Vindicator has deployed on the far right hand side of the battlefield. He's going to be laying down covering fire for the Thunderwolf cavalry as they make their march up the battlefield towards the Relic. In the middle of the battlefield we have the first of the 5 Grey Hunter squads hiding behind the ruins of the chapel. Relic nicely within their sights. Next to them, with the engine ticking over, is the Land Raider. In there is the Wolfrin ready to zoom up the field, open them front doors and come out all snarling with their claws, ready to lay into the Tau. And then finally for the Space Wolves, because the Sunwolf Flyer is in reserve with the Terminators and Ulrich in, we have the last of my 5 Grey Hunter squad. They are, again, nicely close to the Relic, but still a little bit of a journey to go, and with no Rhino to move across the board, they are a little bit exposed. So the Space Wolves are kind of all hunkered onto the right hand side of the battlefield and in the middle. Probably a good thing, because close to them, infiltrating, we have 2 stealth squads. They are being sneaky. They're heading up towards, well, I'm guessing they'll be heading up towards the Grey Hunters. But then again, most of my forces on the other side, so that's always good. Tau, we have the Piranha, the Broadside, and the Hammerhead all hunkered down on their right-hand side of the battlefield, where the Space Wolves are the thinnest, and their lines are not as congested with men. So it'll be interesting to see what Jonathan does with these guys. Over to their troops, we have the first of the Fire Warriors squad, hunkered down behind the Prometheus lines. Again, looks like the same as my Grey Hunter squad, maybe ready to run over to the Relic. But we also have another squad of Fire Warriors. We have the Commander and another squad of Fire Warriors. And of course, everybody's favourite miniature, the dirty, horrible, evil, nasty Riptide. All in the middle of the board. This is pretty much where the Tau have concentrated their force. They've also got the support of the crisis suits. They're the ones. Thank you, John. So yeah, big chunk of Tau here, very close to the Relic. They have Wolfrin, they have some Grey Hunters, they have some Thunderwolf cavalry, and a Vindicator aiming their way. The Ghost Keel is in reserve and will be deep striking. Let's head over to turn 1. A great howl goes up in the Space Wolves line, signalling the start of the fight. The Grey Hunters have clambered over the top of the Prometheus pipelines, heading towards their Wolf brothers in the cathedral, who unfortunately stumbled. I rolled a 1, and they tripped over their own feet as they were going into the ruins. That's always helpful. The Land Raider has moved forward its full 12 inches, getting close to the Tau, ready to drop them doors and get the snarling, slightly crazy Wolfrin out of the front. Thunderwolf cavalry also galloped up their full 12 inches, heading up towards the Tau as quickly as possible. Want to get into combat and get these blue guys out of the way as quickly as possible. The Vindicator has moved round the side of the building, hopefully looking at landing a precision shot on the crisis battle suits that are hiding here behind the building.
Okay, so first of all, my broadsides have scaled the building in order to get a nice firing position or 2. And behind them you can see the Piranha has done what the Piranha always seems to do, and is making a suicidal dash towards the to the Land Raider. My 2 squads that have infiltrated have just made their way through the ruins. They're looking to pursue the Space Wolves on the other side of the pipeline. The Hammerhead has stayed put. It's in quite a nice position there to be aiming at the primary target, which is a Land Raider. In the centre of the board, Riptide, Commander, and the Fire Warrior squad just in front have all moved forward, trying to get within the magic 9 inches for the fusion blasters to do their thing. My crisis suits have exited the building and are making their way across the board in anticipation of that thing hopefully getting blown up and some juicy contents being spilled out from inside. And my fire warrior squads down here have just moved forward. They're basically a meat shield, just to give the Thunderwolf cavalry something to charge and the Vindicator something to drop templates on. It's fairly obvious what they're there for, but you never know, Rich might fall into that trap. You never know. Yeah, that's the Tau movement done. I should mention the Space Wolf shooting phase. You may have noticed it was missing. Basically, the Land Raider tried to take a pop shot at the side of my Hammerhead and failed to penetrate. And Paladin Machine Spirit attempted to shoot the Fire Warrior squad in front, but none of those shots found their intended target. Hence why there was no shooting phase. So there you go. But now there will be some shooting. Okay, so the first highlight from the town shooting phase is the destruction of the Land Raider, which was brought about by shots from the broadsides, from the suicidal charge of the Piranha, and from the Commander. And those guys have all used their assault moves. Oh, and sorry, I should also mention the Hammerhead took around the building there. And with the exception of the Hammerhead, the other units involved have all used their assault moves to get back out of the way again. Because the Wolfen have emerged from the flaming wreck that is now the Land Raider. Rich has cunningly positioned them after their disembarkation, so they weren't a viable target for any of the units. So they are hanging out down at the back there, no doubt pretty cross by this point in time. Other shooting that's happened over here, the Fire Warrior squads and the Crisis squads that were behind them fired at the Wolfen Cavalry, and we've taken 2 models away and left 1 guy with a single wound left, so that squad's pretty beaten up right now. And over here, the Grey Hunters, they lost 2 of their contingent to fire from the burst cannons from the stealth squad, so they've been busy as well. So a pretty successful round of shooting, some pretty lucky assault moves have allowed me to get back out the way. So hopefully the repercussions shouldn't be too great, but we'll see what the Wolves can do from here.
Unfortunately, my reserves, my Stormwolf Fly has not come on this turn. I rolled a 1. So they are going to have to sit out, and the guys on the battlefield are going to have to do this themselves before reinforcements arrive. The Grey Hunters have turned around. They've jumped back over the Prometheus pipelines. They're looking at laying bolt pistol fire down on the stealth squads down here. And maybe going into assault, it is like a 10-inch charge. But then again, I have been lucky in the past with my assault rolls. The Wolfren have moved round the back, from the back of the Land Raider up. They are going to run, and I've got a choice of targets to go for: the Piranha, Fire Warrior squad, or that Fire Warrior squad in the open. Possibly going over here. There's more juicy targets over this side of the building, so might be able to get in over there and cause some carnage. This Grey Hunter squad have moved up into the ruins, looking at putting some fire down before the 1 remaining Thunderwolf cavalry guy goes into this squad here, and they will probably they'll be suffering a shell of death and doom from the Vindicator. But no, my luck, I'll probably scatter and hit my own guy, but we'll see how that goes. The Vindicator gunner aimed, pressed the trigger. He hit home. He hit the shell right exactly where he wanted to, killing off 7 of the Tau that were there. 1 guy remains. I think he might be dead soon though. Thunder Warrior guy made it into combat with the 1 remaining Fire Warrior. He swung his Thunder Hammer and slammed it through the skull of the remaining guy. He squealed as he died. His sights are now set on the Crisis Battlesuit, but There's a lot of firepower. This guy's only got one wound left. I'm not sure he's going to survive it, to be honest. The Grey Hunter squad down here went to go into combat. They took overwatch shots from the stealth squad and supporting fire from the other stealth squad, causing 2 wounds, which I didn't save, and then didn't make it into combat. So that guy is left on his own. Supporting fire, I'm down to 2 Wolfrin remaining. They made it into the combat with the Fire Warriors and quite easily crushed them. But on the way in, they took fire from the Fire Warriors, from the broadsides, from the Riptide. Casualties galore. 1 guy's down to 1 wound and 1 is untouched. A painful turn. Really, really quite painful. My reserves not coming in didn't help. It's looking very one-sided again with these Tau. They are looking strong and they are looking powerful. What can I do to turn this battle?
Okay, so unfortunately the Ghost Keel is not joining the party, but there's plenty of other guys to make up for that. So what I've done with movement is, I don't like the Wolfen very much. They're a little scary, so I've backed the Hammerhead out of the way for the time being. Still got very tenuous line of sight against the Vindicator. It's worth a go, but it's definitely hull down, and it will be the shot of the century if that strikes true. My Fire Warriors have moved forward towards the objective, or the Relic. They've got as close as they can with the movement that they've got. My Riptide is also scared of Wolfren, so not only has he moved, but we've also made use of the Promethean Pipe to increase the charge range that would be required to get into close combat with him. The Cell Suit squads down here have done their best to form a firing squad with the 1 remaining Grey Hunter that's hiding out behind the fuel dump. And then finally, my Commander and the Crisis Suits down here have basically formed a firing squad. I do hope that Thunderwolf Cavalry goes down to all that shooting, otherwise that is going to be a problem. But as you can see, it is right at the edge of the table. I cannot back up anymore, so it is what it is. We're going to have to face it and see what happens. But all being well, he'll be taken down by sheer weight of shots. And my Piranha has, well, it's ultimately aiming to go over towards a Vindicator, but in the interim is heading towards the church. I didn't actually notice the squad that were tucked away inside there, but I've kind of committed to the movement, and I thought, well, you know, for giggles, the Piranha usually just gets destroyed almost instantly, so why not? Let's see what happens there. Another vicious round of shooting there from the Tau. Starting out down here, the Stealth Suit squads have wiped out the remaining Grey Hunter. Not so exciting news up here. The Piranha didn't find its target. I guess the walls of the Sanctuary must have protected the Space Wolves within. And plasma rounds simply bounced off. There was slightly better news from the broadsides. From their prime position there at the top of the building, they hit the Vindicator and stripped it of a hull point. My Riptide fired over the Promethean pipelines and has wiped out the remaining Wolfren, so that's a weight off my mind, that's for sure. The Hammerhead tried that shot and it missed, which I certainly think is divine justice. And then finally down here, this corner of the table, the Commander opened fire at the Wolfen Cavalry, the one guy that was left, and he's been wiped out. So that is the end of shooting. That is the end of this turn. It's not looking good for Space Wolves, but then having said that, there is a flyer to come on, which is full of Terminators, I think. So, yeah, keep watching. You never know how this might pan out.
The Vindicator has moved up a little bit, heading towards the Relic in the middle of the battlefield. Can't shoot this turn, so automatically at a little bit of a disadvantage. However, my reserves are on, my Stormwolf Flyer is on with the Terminators and Ulrich the Slayer inside. Can they turn the tide of this battle? Can they secure that Relic and get it off or back towards my board edge? There's going to be a lot of firepower from the Stormwolf going down onto the Fire Warrior squad. They're currently holding the objective. And the the Grey Hunter squad even, have jumped out of the cathedral and are looking at removing the piranha, which is a little bit of a threat to me at the moment. So they're going to go into combat over here and destroy that. And hopefully these guys will be dead from the Stormwolf Flyer. If not, the Terminators will get out next turn and smash them a new one. The Stormwolf Flyer opened up, killing off four of the Fire Warriors holding onto the Relic. So there is one guy left alive, but I'm sure he's going to fail his morale check and run away, as Tau do. My Hellfrost Cannon annoyingly scattered onto the wreck of my Land Raider. So this guy is still alive. He's doing my head in. Hopefully he'll be dead next turn. In the assault phase, these guys made it into combat and just destroyed the piranha. So that has gone. So that is one threat down. Now they are a little bit exposed from these guys with their fire, but I'm hoping I'll be able to get them safe, get them up onto this Relic and start to bring it back over this way maybe, and obviously with the fire support from the Vindicator and the Stormwolf.
So first piece of news is Ghost Keel did actually get its successful roll to bring it onto the field. I wanted to put it down here somewhere, but unfortunately scattered onto the pipeline, and as a result he's gone back into ongoing reserves, so we're going to have to do without him. I still question the strategy of deep striking that guy, but hey ho, it's done now. The rest of the news, the crisis suits and the commander have moved forward, trying to get them into plasma rifle range of the flyer. My little guy in the middle there, as predicted, has failed his morale check and he's moving back towards his own table edge. So he could just about touch the Relic, and it slipped out of his grasp as he ran off. And other than that, it's just repositioning. So the Riptide has moved to get a good line of sight on the flyer that's just appeared. The Hammerhead has popped around the building for a similar reason. And the Broadsides have stayed put because they've already got a good line of sight. So fingers crossed in shooting, you're going to see that as a flaming ball of death. Okay, so another pretty brutal round of shooting there from the Tau. Quite a good combo actually came to pass. So the commander with his two MacLeod drones scored a couple of hits on the Spacewalk Flyer. I used that to give it the option to ignore cover, and then the Riptide totaled it thanks to having the velocity tracker. So yeah, hitting a normal ballistic skill, no option to jink. Vehicle gets destroyed. Crashed and burnt. A couple of guys got out. There were 4 guys who survived, even a strength 10 AP2 impact. And so 4 guys stepped out. They stepped into what was down here a firing squad's worth of crisis suits, all with plasma weapons, but they actually only managed to take 1 guy out. So mixed bag, I suppose, from that perspective. It'd be nice to wipe them out, but that's just being greedy. I've used my jump move to hop them over here, so they're out of range and nice and safe down here. Across the rest of the battlefield, the Grey Hunters down there are pretty much decimated, thanks to the stealth suits. I've used their jump move slightly bravely to make my way over the pipeline towards them. I'm kind of figuring that he won't pass his morale check. That's the hope, so I'm quite happy to use that jump move to move forward and get towards the objective. I'm conscious that the number of turns is ticking down. Up here, the Hammerhead had a shot at the Terminators, but failed to hit. And the Broadsides up here have taken down the Vindicator, just dead by lack of hull points. 2 hits from the heavy rail rifles there did their job. So that is destroyed. It's another threat off the board. Doesn't give Rich a lot left to play with, but that is a very assault heavy unit, and I can't deny the fact that if I'm going to get the Relic, I'm going to have to get up close, and I can't keep jumping away all the time. I'm going to have to go in and grab that.
The one remaining Grey Hunter failed his morale test. He's had a slight moment. He's panicked. He's retreating round to the back of the battlefield. However, he's running straight past the stealth squad. So, yeah, I think he's going to die. The Terminators are up and on the Relic. They are holding this now. The Storm Shield guy is at the front, hopefully going to be weathering the storm of the shots. Ulrich the Slayer opened up with his plasma pistol at the one remaining Fire Warrior, killing him outright. A precision shot to the face melted his...
Actually, in the back, he was running away.
Oh, okay. Oh,
harsh.
all right. Ulrich the Slayer shot the Fire Warrior in the back. I was going to go with something a bit more dramatic and brave. But yeah, we killed a Fire Warrior in the back.
So the Stealth Suit squads have basically run up towards the objective. There's no real point wasting a shot on the Grey Hunters, and following Ulrich's example, the broadsides up here are going to have a go at sniping him in the back as he's running away. As you can see, they haven't moved. The broadsides are staying put. They've got a great position there to be sniping across the battlefield. Just below it, the Hammerhead, I can't draw line of sight against the Terminators that are hiding out behind the Land Raider, but it does have the smart missile system, so I'm going to use that instead this turn and see how that performs. And then as we move to the centre of the battlefield, the blob that is the Crisis Suits, the Commander and the Riptide are all basically jockeying for position to shoot the Terminators that are tucked in here behind the Relic. So using what narrow sight lines we've got to try and take those guys out this turn. So we'll move on to shooting and see if these guys are still standing at the end. So the broadsides at the top of the building with a great sniper position saw the shot, took the shot, and the Grey Hunter is no more. He's a speck of dust. He's disappeared. Across here, you might probably have expected what was going to happen. Massed fire of plasma rifles and Riptides mean that that squad has been eliminated, and that means there is nothing left on the board from Space Wolves. So there you go. Another brutal round of shooting there has taken a fair few Terminators down.
So there we go then, guys. That is the end of the battle. At the start of the video, I asked the question, could the Space Wolves get revenge for the ass whooping they got first time round? The answer's no. Maybe it's because I'm not running any of the new formations with the Space Wolves yet. Maybe I'm slightly underpowered, as that is the way that 40k is kind of played nowadays with all the formations. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one, because I know I didn't. Please give us a like and leave me a Tau rage, hatred-filled comment in the box below, because it'd be really funny and I can point at John and see, look, nobody loves you, John. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel and we will see you guys on the next one.